Good morning, scrappers, scrapettes, recyclers, planet lovers, everybody else, all my newfound friends here on TikTok and YouTube. Oh man, oh come on, don't do that to me. I am BUTT dragon tired today, but gotta push on, right? Okay. So, I still have probably 50 or 60 of those blade servers, not blade servers, these things, what did we decide? These were IBM memory modules to process, which I'm going to push through today. We did really well, and a lot of people had questions why this went as number 2 copper and not Bear Bright. There's just enough contamination here, although I think if I scrape that it might be copper, but a lot of times with these heat sinks, when they connect the copper to the copper, they use like an aluminum solder, so that contaminates the copper just enough that you can't do Bear Bright. Bear Bright, and the same thing with Bear Bright aluminum, by the way, aka extruded aluminum. Good luck with that one, by the way. It's the same thing. The problem is, and I know this, and those of you who've been involved with scrapping for quite some time would know, hi Carolyn, good morning, would know that, you've gotten your loads downgraded. It's happened to you, it's happened to me. So imagine you have 100 pounds. Well, the yard has a whole ton. So they have to be careful, because if that load is contaminated, their buyer's going to reject the whole thing. And that's by the ton, not by the pound. So to a degree, I understand that. I don't like getting ripped off. None of us do. But, everybody's got a job to do, and it is what it is. If you have a legitimate discussion with them, they would explain that to you. In this case, though, I do know that these have to go as number 2 copper. This takes 5 whacks for the hammer. I've done it in 2. But if I were to knock this off, you'd see there's an aluminum bonding agent that bonds the copper to the aluminum. And that's going to be here too. Here, let me see if I can show you real quick. So I don't really, my point is I don't argue with the scrapyard about this, although it's absolutely beautiful number 2 copper. It is number 2 copper, and there's just really no discussion to be had about it here. I'll show you. I will show you. Good morning, Angel. Good morning, Amber. Good morning, Papa Dearbow. Good morning to you. Yeah, I'm a little bit late this morning, guys, getting on. I was awful tired, and I'm not picking on myself, Edward. We're all been working hard. It doesn't really show here, but because of its weight, this would just be light copper, which is number 2. It's not thick enough to be Bear Bright. So, but see, here's what the issue is. This is not thermal paste. This is like an aluminum, almost like a solder. So what happens, I'm not going to take the whole thing apart, just enough to show you, and hopefully this will help you guys with grading your copper as well. I've given thought to knocking all these fins off and sanding it down and trying to get Bear Bright out of the deal. It's just not worth it. I don't have the time anymore. I've done it in the past. Alright, this should show. So again, this is not thermal paste. This is like a coating of aluminum solder. So what it does is it contaminates the copper just enough that it can't go as number one Bear Bright. Okay, I mean, Bear Bright has to be so clean that that the yard where they put it into a bin and then into a baler. It gets crushed and compacted. It gets loaded onto a truck, and off it goes to their buyer. So they have to not let it be contaminated going in there. See, even here, you can see this a little bit. It's not thermal paste. It's like aluminum or POSA or some type of solder. But it's just enough to prevent these things from going as number one. So those are number two copper. This also goes in as number two copper because it's very thin. Okay, and again, it's contaminated. Okay, so if you're going to go and scream and yell about your Bear Bright copper, make sure you know what you're yelling about. The other heat sinks that I had, I did take them apart. I took one or two apart just to be sure of where I stood. Let's take a look at this one. I think this is going to go as number two copper as well. I think it's got the same contamination issue. Let's find out. I've got a mountain of freaking heat sinks down cellar to work on. It is raining. It's a weekend. Of course it's going to rain. We are now on our 18th weekend of rain. Yeah. So this is the same thing. There's enough contamination here that it downgrades this to number two. Okay? See, you gotta knock a fin off and see what's what with that. Okay. These, I've got 200 and something of them to process. A couple little screws here. This is dirty aluminum. That'll be number two copper, and then I'll sell this as a gold fingered card. Really good gold recovery on these. I have a lot of them to process. Same thing here. Now, there's a case to be made for extruded aluminum. I would have to take these off because they are steel. I have to get this off, and I will discuss with the scrapyard after I take this off the possibility of putting this in as extruded aluminum. Extruded aluminum goes through a press. It looks like a mold. It's been forced through a press like Play-Doh, through one of those Play-Doh factories. Hi, Dave Donahue. Good morning. Homie, good morning. Dark Knight, good morning. Wow, 2.2. You guys were expecting me, eh? So, if you want to go in and argue about extruded aluminum, have it separated. My yard, I just know. They're going to go what they call old sheet, which means it's clean, but it could have a minute amount of contamination. They're going to do that to cover their butts because they don't want their load getting rejected and sent back to them. Okay, so I won't bore you with any more of these. These have been very kind to us. We got each one of these copper heat sinks after I cleaned it up was 2 pounds of number two copper, and I turned in 100 of these last week. We got so we got 200 pounds of copper for we got to make like $750 on it. Over the course of last week. I am going to clean the rest of those up, at least get the heat sinks up. For those of you who don't know, I had a very annoying flood about Mother's Day weekend, which is why my sink looks like it does right now. We had I have this very small sink. Mother wanted a dishwasher, so they put in this stupid little bar sink so she could get a dishwasher when they redid their kitchen back in the 70s. Well, the damn thing overflowed on me. Water everywhere. It got under my stove. It shorted the electric. It broke the dishwasher. It went down the hallway, that way, into the bathroom, and then poured into the basement between the toilet and the bathtub. So now I'm dealing with the contractors and the insurance companies. So my point is I need to make a whole bunch of money. and so I can get this done, because you know the insurance company can't cover the whole thing, and so I got to get my butt scrapping, is what I guess I'm saying here. So I am grateful for any scrap I can find to turn in for profit. I would have liked to have held the copper. It's down to $3.49, I think it is, give or take a little bit. So so we're pushing it, but I don't want to do any more of those IBM modules on camera, because you poor people have seen enough of those things. 250 on a pallet. Makes it a little tough when you have a channel, because you want to show your viewers different content and different things, but when you buy a pallet full of something, it's a little tricky. Anyway, so these are, I have one more story I must share with you in about, I think I'll do it now before I start this. Hang on a second. Just a little update on grading these boards. These are the boards I get out of these blade servers. They downgraded me last week, even though I had sent in a picture. They downgraded me for taking these gold fingers off. Even though I had sent a picture of the board with the gold fingers off, they downgraded it to a high-grade peripheral board from Telecom. And, we went back and forth, and I have to say it was a very professional email discussion with BoardSort and myself, and I showed her the picture. I said, this is what I sent you, here's your email telling me what we're going to get this graded as in this condition. Can you imagine how many boards a day that place must get in? I mean, so my immediate reaction is they were very, very professional about everything. I showed him that. He's just, going forward, don't take those off, otherwise you're going to get downgraded. I said, that's fine. I have no problem leaving it on. It's less work for me to do. The ones that I did sell, I did really well on these, but it's going to make a difference. Peripheral high grade, I think, pays like $4.89, and right now Telecom high is $8 and change. So check with your buyer before we nip things. And then they said, "Oh, you took chips off." No, I didn't. What happened is the cover came off when I pulled the heatsink, but I didn't take the chips. And again, very professional discussion. They honored what they said, and what I did is I put the CPU chips back on and sent them along on the ones that I had taken them off, taken those fingers off of. So again, there are good professional discussions to be had, and they are very professional. And we came to a resolution, and I'm very pleased about it. And he's okay, I'm okay. I did find another online board buyer. My only problem with BoardSort is the shipping. I'm in Connecticut, which is all the way on the East Coast. I have to ship it to Ohio, which is in the center of the country. And I love them. They're wonderful. Hi, Grabber Blue. Morning, homie. Wow. So, you just have to, you gotta know how to talk to people. I think that's the crux of what I was saying. Like when I clean these up and I discuss with my scrapyard why I think this is extruded aluminum, minus the card and minus the metal, or why when I go in and I understand why I'm going to get number 2 copper for this piece, or following the conversation with BoardSort why they downgraded these from Telecom to high-grade peripheral because of something I had done. And you're not going to get anywhere screaming and itchy being, You're really not. Be patient, be professional, try to understand the other side of the coin. Like when I got notified that they were going to downgrade me on this particular load of stuff, I had an explanation why they downgraded me. And I'm like, I didn't take any chips off. I never take chips off. You guys have never seen me take a chip off a computer. You never will. So, be nice to people. They got a job to do, too. I guess that's my point. Huh? All right. So, I've got boxes of e-scrap outside to do. have, I don't know, I must have 100 of those Polyphone office phones. Those are good boards for gold recovery. They usually have a lot of gold flashing on them. And I just don't know when I'm going to get to them. As this is also the time of year when our band instrument returns come pouring in. Hi Dino, welcome. Daryl, welcome. Thank you all for the gifts. my youngest nephew, Will, who he's kind of partially responsible for me getting into the whole TikTok thing. They all three of the kids, young adults at this point, all three of them got on me about getting into TikTok, which I wasn't going to do. I had no intention of doing TikTok, guys. But they got me into this whole thing, and Will took over my initial publicity, and he fronted me $10 to, I don't know what promotion he got. We were laughing because I got $12 and something cents deposited the other day. So he jokingly sends me a bill for $10 last night. I was like, what the heck? You know, we laughed. We kid around a lot. Like, yeah, right. It was funny. Alright. Now, let me get something to grab this with. I don't want to cut my hands again. In the foundry, copper 1 is the same as 2. It all smelts. The number 1 is heavier. This is heavy. I mean, this is super, super thick on the bottom. I think part of the problem, and that is user ending in 2095. The problem is these fins are very thin, and I get that. But I think more of the problem is the fact that it's not 100% pure copper. It's pure copper. Pure copper. You know, I'm not going to argue too much more about that. You know, you pick your arguments, you pick the ones you're going to win. I did find another online board buyer that is closer to me. That's going to save me on shipping. But I don't know them as well as I know the one that I've been using. And I don't know. You choose your poison. Not that they're poison. This was a terrible thing to say. Sorry, Chris. I didn't mean that. You're not poison. You're wonderful. But it's just such a long drive. Alright. Why do you not want to come off, you booger? Here we go. Some of these they might have gotten wet because I got them at a warehouse. Sometimes when they get wet, they don't want to open up. Well, that's interesting. So there's 4 sets of buttons here. There's one here. There's one here. That takes the front off. That was interesting. And push and push. This should get the cover off. These are on the heat sinks. They shouldn't be a problem to get off. I just don't want to cut myself again. Push. There we go. And whoosh. Come in. Boy. Sure, just because I'm on camera, it's going to embarrass the living whoopee jab out of me, you know? Good morning, Kathleen Kelly Moss. Thank you for the gifts. You got a gifter badge, so you must have sent me a gift. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is stuck. I may just go get it out of the way, guys. I really don't feel like fighting with this morning. Problem is I need 4 hands and I've only got 2. Let's try holding this guy up while I go after this guy. Voila! Where there's a will, there's a way. Well, let's take a looky-see. These look pretty good. A couple of hard drives. These, I already know they're copper aluminum heat sinks, and I'll show you in a minute. They got to be cleaned before you put these through. I did take one of these apart last week to see what was in it. Now, I always try to get the battery off first because I always forget. Terrible. Somewhere on here I should be able to find a year that this was manufactured. I'm thinking 2011. This is definitely an older board. This is an AMD gold-fingered BGA. This is where you have to be careful. If I knock this off and I take the chip with it, yeah, legitimately I'm going to get downgraded. So I'm always a little bit more leery about these. Alright, well, let's get into it. Good morning, William. Good morning, Miguel. Solo, good morning. Jim Joe, welcome. Yeah, this is more or less my usual time to go live, is between 9 and 10 on Sunday morning. I could not get myself going this morning. I took a long time to get myself going. Alright, so I gotta push this back. This area, if you're doing the board for your own gold recovery, these connectors here, those are full of gold. For me, I'm not gonna strip that because I'm not refining the board. I'm going to sell the board. Come here, you. Are we being a beastie this morning, huh? There you go. I take these boards apart. I sell the boards individually and separately. Now those I do sell only to board sort because I know they're going to crush them and recycle them. I don't have to worry about data. You'd be surprised how much data is in these chips. And even though when I bought these, I wasn't under any instruction to destroy the hard drives, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to sell the boards to board sort, and then the hard drives without boards I sell to a certified R2 recycler, just to be safe. But yeah, no, look at the gold recovery on hard drive boards. They're unbelievable. This is what I call the middle of the road. This is called the low-grade SATA board. High-grade non-SATA boards have double rows of gold fingers, like 48 gold fingers. Those you'll get off old-school computers, not so much these new ones. Good morning, Steve. And if I miss your comment or I miss a question, please feel free to leave it in the messages. I actually do return my messages, really, and I do read through them. I also will repost the video on my YouTube channel, and if I'm under an hour, it'll be reposted here on TikTok as well. They only let you post up to an hour. After that, they won't let you. So, this is what's called low-profile RAM. It's made for things like this, for thin servers. Just see if I can find a year on this. IBM PN something or other. Assembled in the United States. Look at the gold recovery on this. Now, I should have I don't know how much I'm going to have by the time I'm done, but I will put this for sale in my eBay store when I finish scrapping these out. Hopefully I'll have at least £1. Really amazing gold recovery on this RAM. This RAM is RAM. Really amazing. So this is very old. This is old. They don't make vintage chunky RAM like this anymore. I think these might be from 2011. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't found a date yet. I do seem to have that problem a lot, not being able to find a date. It's probably why I'm still single. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week. Drum roll. It's pretty chunky. Like I said, I have like 5 of these to do. I hope I get £1. That I'm going to put in the eBay store, which is ctbandinstruments.com. Hopefully. Good morning, Rolando. Good morning, Emo Kid. I see some new names in the chat. Why destroyed? Because they don't work anymore. It's old technology. And I get the question at least once in every chat, and I don't really mind explaining it. If there was any merit to resale, resale is always better than scrapping. And I didn't see the name on that. Something Taylor, and I can't see it because it's white print over a white part of this. I bought these from an IT recycler. He he replaces old technology with new technology. He's already tried to sell this. If he can't sell it, I'm not going to be able to. So specifically, I bought these for the recovery of the board, the recovery of the copper, the RAM, and everything else. It's not so much even that they don't work. They're old. I mean, this is like trying to run your office on a Commodore 64. It's not practical. And right now, gold refiners really are after these high quality boards. Some of you have heard my story about how I got into the whole e-scrap thing, and my opinion back when NVIDIA started really coming along and getting on board and getting really big. I said to myself, with all this technology, where in the heck are they going to get all of these components to continue making these things? And my thought then was, it's going to be an e-scrap. And I've watched that come true as the price of gold and copper have soared. The price of quality, not the plastic crap garbage that's out there now. But yeah, the price of e-scrap has just skyrocketed. It's double what it was when I started doing this. Telecom boards, I think, were around 5 something when I started. Now they're almost $9 and change, and I expect that's going to go up too. So gold bearing components have gone up quite a bit. I wish I could save all this stuff. I really do, but I don't have the room. And and I do sell it for a profit. That's just what I do now. And believe it or not, I'm actually a hobby scrapper. I do this for fun. It's usually fun. I've put my music school up. I've actually closed my music school, per se. That's closed. I'm going to keep the rental business, but I'm going to run that that's going to be online, and I can actually do that from home. So I'm hoping to get that closed fairly soon. So, I'm 65. I'd like to retire, and it is fun, Carolyn, and I really love doing YouTube and the conversations and so many of the same faces and a lot of the same circles. I think it's fun. So, I'm 65, so I'd like to enjoy, the next 10 years of my life if my health stays good. And no reason to think it shouldn't. I'd like to enjoy myself for a few years. But still, I think I'm one of those people who will always work because it's just the way we are. My whole family are hard-working people. Their parents and grandparents, all hard-working immigrant families. And I think their work ethic just carried down through my parents and to their children, and now to the grandchildren. Those kids work real hard, every single one of them. So we all work hard. That's why we scrap, right? Keeps my mind occupied. I gotta tell you, I gotta agree with that, Carolyn. Especially now that I've got the TikTok channel and the chat. It's been really cool. I think it's just cool. You sit down, you turn on your phone, next thing you know, you're talking to people from all over the world. I think that's awesome. And it certainly has helped me get through a very difficult time in my life. Lost my mom a year ago last December, and I was her full-time caretaker. And You know, it's I don't care how old you are, boy. Losing mom is just, you know. But I'm very grateful I had this to keep me busy. I guess that was my point. And it did. It got me through a very difficult time in my life. I had people to talk to. I had something to do that I like doing. And, yeah. Anyway, you don't need to hear all that garbage. Come on. I think my drill bit is dull. I just don't feel like going downstairs and getting the other drill. Alright, so this I can clean up without too much trouble. This is cast aluminum. These will pound right through with a hammer. I should be able to knock the copper loose. Probably going to wind up with number 2. It's got that paste, you know, that aluminum paste. And again, these are not that thin. This might go as number 1, but I won't know until I knock it apart and see what's under there. I did get told by the yard that I had to clean them up a little bit better. And I'm like, oh, what the hell do I pay you people for? You know, it's number 2. Give me number 2 already. Now the copper aluminum heat sinks, 10 cents a pound. I'm like, no, I'll take those home. Thank you very much. So be careful there, guys. They can give you copper aluminum heat sinks if you don't clean them. And you really ain't going to get nothing. Hello, James. Ronaldo, good morning. Yeah, so again, if you send this in just like this, you're going to get copper aluminum heat sinks. They pay squid. This doesn't take too long. These will knock right off. You just lay it flat on something. A couple of whacks with the hammer, you can get rid of those. And a couple of whacks on here, and you'll get rid of that too. And just be able to pull it forward. You should be able to. You might get yourself a nice piece of beer break. Not sure yet. Jury is still out on that one, kids. Okay. I haven't gotten any closer to finding a date on this thing yet. My guess is going to be somehow 2011 keeps popping back into my head. The memory modules that I got from IBM, those were 2011. Server series 36.4. Nope, not a date. Judging from the quality, though, she's not too bad. Do I remove the gold or just scrap it? My buyer, who I know, Custom Computer, yes, I take my glasses off to read. I can't freaking see. I have a pair of computer glasses somewhere. I think they're in the office. And, yeah, man, I can't. I'm actually extremely nearsighted, but, you know. I'm old, Custom Computer. What do you want? I'm 65. And good morning, by the way. You did well on that build-out that you had this week, huh? You made a nice little tidy post about that. That was good. Good for you. Glad to see that. They're beautiful computers. So somebody said, do I process the gold? I do not. I take the things apart and I sell the components, and often sell boards to people who do gold refining, or I sell the parts. Usually what I sell RAM, Goldfinger cards, hard drive boards, CPU chips, cast aluminum to the scrapyard, and of course the scrap metal. This is a really nice board. I suppose I could run the serial number, and I'm looking for the date on the board. I haven't found it yet. Boards that are pre-2020 are usually better for gold refining. And what's happening, and I started to say this before, BoardSort over the past couple weeks, they just changed all their grading. They're doing much better for older boards, which I have been screaming about for years. Not just me, but I didn't understand how they could possibly pay the same price for a board like this one that yields high in gold recovery as they're paying for a crappy plastic gaming board, like the AMC boards. You know, how could you pay the same price? They're not anywhere near the quality. And I think what happened probably is people probably were keeping their older boards and sending the crap to Board Sort. So I think they, I wasn't doing that personally, by the way. I always figured I got a fair shake, and it was not fair to send a mixed load, or a bad load. I always send kind of a mixed load, good boards to offset bad boards, things like that. You got to go to all this off, and you got to run this with a magnet. Make sure that this is not magnetic at all. This should go as cast aluminum. Like I said, I got to check this. Otherwise, you know, they run the magnet, they pick up any stick. It's going to become something called irony aluminum. Irony aluminum. Some people will save this because there's silver contacts in there. Carlton, good morning. These are cast. So that kind of stuff, yeah, I sort. I got to be careful trying to get that off. If I pull the chip, then I get devalued. This is not a battery. This is a capacitor. I already got the battery off. Where are you? I did take the battery off. That's the first thing I did. I just don't remember where it is. All right. I tend to scrap things in groups, which is why sometimes I run out of content. Like right now, I'm trying to finish up all the IBM memory modules. It's easier for me to just take them all apart, you know, sell 100 boards, sell 100 pieces of copper, sell 100 gold fingers, instead of just having bins of crap everywhere. As soon as I get, you know, I take it apart, I put it in a box, I get the box full, I weigh it and ship it out. I'm done with it. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to tell you. Probably sometime this week, the other eBay store will go up, and that's going to be called eScrap by the Pound. And that will be run by yours truly, D-Scraps, eScraps. Somebody projected I should do D-Scraps, eScraps on eBay. I might. Haven't decided yet, but I will be moving the eScrap out of the Connecticut Band store. I don't know when, sometime this week. Like I said, I have a lot going on with the band instrument rental returns. Tomorrow my patio awning is being delivered. I decided to do that first. We always had an awning outside. I got one of those sunsetters. And I decided to do that because when they demolish my kitchen, they're going to need a place to work that's dry. So since I already have the frame and everything, and we already have the patio, that'll give the contractors a clean, dry place to work so my new cabinets don't get destroyed. And so that'll be that. I won't get too much use out of the patio this year, I'm afraid. It's done nothing but rain anyway. 18 weekends in a row of rain in Connecticut. It is an absolute record. You know who I feel bad for when it rains like this? I feel so bad for seasonal merchants. I mean, what do you do if your business depends on weekend activities, food trucks, vendors, craft fairs? Hey, what do you do if it rains all summer? You're Scrooged, because that's your money for the year, you know? And I feel bad for them. There's where the battery came off. It's illegal to ship with the battery in it, and it is entirely possible your entire load will be rejected and returned to you at your expense if your buyer finds batteries in there. So they can start a fire in the refinery when they chuck this through the shredder. These things can start a fire, so be careful. As I said, it is illegal to ship. It is illegal to ship with those in there. Alright, this should be a nice pinned CPU. I have a whole bunch of these. These are really good for gold recovery. I usually sell stuff by the pound if I can. And I usually match it to whatever Board Sort is paying. Just the only reason is if I have to wait about 10 days for Board Sort to pay me, which is fine. It's they're not doing anything wrong. I don't mean anything against them. But if I can make it available to you guys, I don't mind doing so. Look at the gold pins on that. That's amazing for gold recovery. This is going to go as a pin CPU with metal. They have some grades for ceramics. Ceramics obviously pay much better because there's not so much metal on it. But that is a beautiful, beautiful CPU for gold recovery. And because it has the pins, you know, that's something you home gamers can get gold from. So pin CPUs are the best. Ceramic pin CPUs are even more the best. Good, better, best. Hi, Big Rhino. Thank you so much. Gary, good morning. Again, just really nice. That's a copper heatsink on the back, by the way. If you were so inclined to upgrade these, you could. And for me, I'm just going to sell it like that. When I get a pound or so of them, I'll put them in the eBay store. Temporarily, it's CT Band Instruments. I've just got a category for e-scrap right now. So, prior to all of the upgrading, or in general, this would be... I gotta think about that. Dual plastic socket server board is what I'm going to go with. These are called AMD sockets. I haven't seen a lot of units where I get two of these. This would be a question mark, but it's definitely a dual plastic socket motherboard, server motherboard. But I'm going to request Telecom High for this under the new grading. Why on earth would I expect Telecom High? Look at the chips, right? This is loaded. This is an older board. It is loaded with gold recovery for the buyer. And as I said, Board Sort has already adjusted their pricing for some of these. Again, you know, I won't know until I actually write to him and send him a picture if that will qualify. In my opinion, yes, it will. If he says no, well, I'm going to hang on to it. And that's not a bad thing. I don't mean a bad thing by any means, but in my opinion, this is now, under the new grading system, this is a high-grade telecom board all day. They grade telecom by the gold components and the amount of waste that's on or not on the board. This is a beautiful board in the back. Now, again, this is going to be a board that's more valuable on the outside, on the inside rather, as opposed to the outside. Not sure what those are. You got flat packs, IC chips. These could be crystal oscillators, not 100% sure. Gold, flashing. There's going to be gold pins in these backplane boards. I'm not going to strip those because I am going to ask for high-grade telecom, so I don't want to take anything off the board that could hurt me. I mean, it's loaded. And the board itself, for a refiner, this is a far more valuable board than a board from the current times. It's got a lot more gold. The older the board is, the better for gold recovery. Prior 2020, if you're after high-quality boards, that's where it's at. These newer boards, the newer they are, the more plastic. Good morning. I can't see it. I think it's Diamanto. Good morning. Thank you so much, all of you who are sending gifts. That's so kind of you. All right. I'm going to try to get this off. A little bit of heat sometimes help. In this case, they don't mind if you leave the bracket on because they don't want the chip damaged either. Generally speaking, most buyers are going to want the bracket off if you can get it off. Sometimes you can't. You know, if I pull this chip off, trying to take that bracket off, I can kiss any hope of Telecom High. Adios, because, you know, I've just destroyed any value on the board. They're beautiful chips, boy. BGA bold gold something. I can't remember what the A stands for. Look at the gold here in these RAM slots. Huge gold recovery for a buyer. I do sell these to the general population as well. pretty much for about what I would sell at the board sort for. I will put some in the store. I'm going to try and get this off. Again, if you have to force it, don't do it. You're going to hurt yourself if you do. That one I was pretty sure would come off. And this one I'm just afraid to fight with. So it's another gold banded BGA. This I know already is an AMD chip that's under here. That's an AMD board. And I've knocked a few of these. I've been able to get them off. So really quite a nice board for a buyer who's doing gold refining. IBM 2005. There it is right on here, 2005. I know you can't read it upside down. Put it in a mirror, stand on your head, and you can read it. 2005. That's a holy shit board, as ever I saw one. Wow. Okay, well, I don't have a lot of new stuff to scrap for you this morning, so I think I'm going to just leave it at that, and I'd be happy I had something new. What's coming in this week and what's coming up the pike? I have to finish these. I have to get rid of them because I need to turn in the copper. Pricing has been okay. I wouldn't say copper is at its highest point anymore. 349-ish for number 2, I think, is what I got yesterday. I don't remember what the date on this board is either. It's not marked. Pre-2020, and actually one of the local refiners here in Connecticut won't buy anything after 2020 right now. He's only buying pre-2020 boards. If you're selling boards, I do want to encourage you to go to Board Sort, look at the new video about board grading. Everybody is following suit. Their buyer I deal with in New Hampshire just did the same thing. They made the exact same set of adjustments. I can drive to them. That's nice. They don't pay as well, but you know when you got to factor in shipping. Shipping is always going to be the bane of my existence. So if anybody has any questions on anything we talked about today, Sack, good morning. Deonda Dunez, welcome. What might the holy word be worth, kind of, sort of? Well, let me weigh it and I'll tell you. Give me 30 seconds, I'll walk over to this board. This is the holy board. Going over to the scale and weighing the holy board. That was a good question. I keep meaning to have the current payout sheet. So it weighs 1.6. So let's just call it 1.5 pounds because it'll be easier for me to do my math. And I think High Grade Telecom right now is $8 a pound. So that would be a $12 board, just like this. That's not bad. Of course, you got to figure your shipping and your packing costs. So that's a $12 board if I get High Grade Telecom. Now, I have to, again, I'm going to ask him, the problem there is going to be right here. There's not as much gold recovery. But this, my opinion, this makes up for it, this makes up for it, this, and the fact that this thing is just loaded with chips. So again, I think I already asked them about this board. I got to go back and look at my pictures and see what they're going to pay me for that as. I don't see any reason it wouldn't be a High Grade Telecom, except maybe for that. But yeah, see, I'm not gonna get that off, and I don't want to damage the chip. That's not a battery; it's a capacitor. All right. Well, I'm going to spend the rest of midday knocking these guys apart. And you guys have already seen me do all 150 of these. I don't really want to bore you. It is good. Yeah. And you know what, Robot 55? It's good to know your pricing before you buy e-scrap. A lot of my videos, I try to include that information. If you don't know what you're doing and you go out and buy e-scrap, you can lose a load of money before you even know it. So what I do is, like, I have a local IT guy, and he sometimes just in these rooms like, D, give me 50 cents a pound and you can have it. I'm like, yeah, sure, be right up, you know. Is in a lot of cases, he's pulled it out of a working environment. He hasn't had to pay for it because he put in new equipment for them, and you know. So know what's inside. Look through my videos. Hit YouTube up with whatever it is you're thinking of purchasing. E-Waste Ben has, you know, you can see what's in there. Like, for example, when I bought these, I bought one. I took this apart. Okay, 2 pounds of copper. Half a pound of aluminum. Hopefully, and I did get a lot of RAM out of these. That was where I was able to make my money back. And now I'll weigh that real quick for you. That's always a great discussion topic. Oops. 0 at the scale. Yeah, 1.6. So this is a $12 high-grade telecom board right in my hand, plus the copper, plus the RAM, plus the aluminum, and the Goldfinger cards and copper heat sinks. I get one of these out of there, and that. So, you know, I think if you know what's in there, you kind of mentally price it out for yourself. You know if you're going to make money or not. I hate having to buy e-scrap. You know, when you have a channel, though, you got to keep quality content up for the people who watch your channel. Otherwise, you don't have a channel for very long, huh? So, yeah, not too bad. What's under these? This is the before, here's the after. And I've got to leave these gold connecting pins on for my buyer. Again, I will get telecom high on this. And good gold recovery. I don't remember the date on these. They're old, that I can tell you. Anyway, so I've got the board sort boxes are already piled down my hall. I tend to box them in piles of about 25 because I'm a girl and I'm not strong. So, you know, I send a box or two out every day. Oh, don't throw them away. Don't throw them away, user 7517. Where can I recycle e-waste? If you're looking to throw away e-waste, most transfer stations will have a place for that. Most scrap yards are now taking e-waste, and I think it's going to, you're going to get even more scrap yards that are taking e-waste. I was reading, oh shoot, for the second time I've blanked out on the name of the refinery in Texas. Shark Scrapper's working with them, and I've blanked out again. He told me yesterday who they were, and I can't remember. They started in New Zealand and then moved to Australia and just opened just recently moved their first plant to Texas. They have an amazing process. I mean, we're drowning in e-scrap. This stuff is toxic. These boards, it says if you cut this, you're going to get sick from toxicity poisoning. Responsible e-waste management, in my opinion, is becoming more and more popular. I mean, your transfer station should take it. If you go to Google and just type in, where can I recycle e-waste, you may find somebody who'll buy it from you. Computers, servers. I'm actually having trouble getting quality e-waste right now. It's it's being bought up as fast as it can be. So I would Google where can I dispose of my e-waste. Your transfer station probably will take it. Our town transfer station takes e-waste. I actually am able to sometimes buy some from the people who come to take it away. I think if you put it on like Facebook Marketplace, you might be able to get rid of it. But I would not throw those old computer boards away. Oh no, don't do that. Hi Scotty, you made up some AP solution to remove the gold. If you know what you're doing, There's a lot of people on TikTok who do gold recovery. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Flux, Phil's Gold, Southern Scrapper. Oh, and Scrapping Irish, of course. So there's a lot of people who do gold refining. I don't recommend it unless you really know what you're doing. It's very dangerous. Hey, for me, I'd rather just sell the boards and sell the components to somebody who does know what they're doing. Have you all been connected with the Gold family? There's a bunch of this scrap. You're right, Brian C. Yes, we have a very nice community, what we call the Gold family here on TikTok, and I very much enjoy all of them. And it's really fun when you go into somebody else's feed or somebody else's YouTube live. You know, you see all the people who were on your live, and I think that's really fun. And we certainly support each other. We try not to step on each other's times and things like that. I just think it's just an amazing place to be. I love it. I'm grateful for it. Okay. Dennis, you might be able to... I would go online. Dennis says he's got a large variety of boards I need to recycle. I do buy e-waste if you're in the Connecticut area. I certainly buy e-scrap. I buy servers. I buy boards. You know, I certainly don't pay what Board Sort does because, of course, I have to process them and ship them and sort them and store them. But I do buy boards. I do buy computers in the Connecticut area. I don't buy TVs. I don't buy monitors. I don't buy printers. I don't have the space, you know. There's a lot of plastic in those things. But yeah, I do think... Oh, Dennis, you're in Texas. If you look that up... There's a new place. If you look up e-waste recyclers, it's going to come up. They're from New Zealand, and they just opened up in Texas. I just can't remember the name of it. What am I doing? I'm just winding up my live. I've been scrapping servers. There's a couple of guys I follow here in America that do the gold removal. Yes, Scotty, I do as well. Again, it's just... You know what? I don't want to be bothered. It's messy. Our neighborhood is too densely populated. It's not my comfort zone. My comfort zone is doing this and chatting with you guys. All right, everybody. I would like to thank each and every one of you for spending some time with me this Sunday morning. My usual live time is between 9 and 10 on Sunday mornings, depending when I get my sorry little ARS out of bed. Good morning, Sean. Yes, I agree. Sean sends his material to a creator here on TikTok. A lot of people do that. Like I said, I put the e-scrap that I know is... I put a lot of stuff up for sale in my eBay store. So I am going to sign off. I'm going to brush my teeth, get cleaned up, and get my butt to church. All right, everybody. God bless. Stay wonderful. Thanks again for spending some time with me Sunday morning. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope next weekend to have some new material for you. I just don't want to sit and go through all these again. You guys have already seen me scrap almost 200 and something of them, so. All right, everybody. Be good. Bye-bye. Canada. I love Canada. Bye-bye.